guys, this is Stephanie back with another video. Today I'm gonna be doing a story time about the pregnancy, birthing process. So I found out I was pregnant in January, and there was a lot of emotions going on, but I made it through. And February through February through August was the hardest time of my life that I've ever had to go through something like that. It was a beautiful thing, but then again, kind of had its trials, tribulations, ups and downs. So, I had Lennox on August the 8th, 2024. So let me start with the contractions and stuff. I didn't have no contractions. I didn't know that I was in labor until that morning of the 8th. I went walking with my mom on the 7th. And that night, liquid was dripping down my leg that night, all throughout the night. And I went to the bathroom at like 2 in the morning, and it just kept going. And so the next morning, well, it was still morning, but around like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, then I got up again and it was still going. So I didn't know that my water was broke at the time, because I'm thinking, you know how like in the movies, it's just like gush. I'm thinking that that's what's finna happen, but it didn't do that. So I told my mama everything that was going on, and she was like, I think your water is broke. So instead of her going to work and instead of me going to work, well, matter of fact, we had COVID at the time, so we weren't going to work. I just thought about it. We had COVID. My mom went to Vegas, came back, gave it to me, and we both stuck at home. So, we had COVID at the time, so we wasn't going to nobody's job, but we called St. Dominic. They didn't answer. My mom, she was like, okay, let's go on and go. So we went to the hospital, and I told them, you know, what was going on. Went to labor delivery, and I was like, hey, I think my water is broken and I want to check myself in. And so the nurses was like, okay. We got to a room, and they gave me all of, you know, the stuff to change into and all of that stuff. And so they put the little belly thing on me. And so when the nurses left out, I was so nervous because he came 2 weeks before his time. So I wasn't even ready, but it all just happened so fast. So the nurse came back in, and she was like, hey, I'm just gonna check your cervix, you know, to see how far dilated you are or whatever. And so she checked my cervix, and then she was like, hey, you 3 centimeters. Like, I just touched his leg and he definitely broke through the sack. And so I said, what? You know, like, this coming so fast. And I was like, what you mean you just touched his leg? Like, you should have been able to touch that or whatever. But sure enough, his little fat head self kicked through the sack, and he was still breached. Throughout my whole pregnancy, he was breached. So they tried turning him, all of that. He wasn't going. So he was still breached, and they did an ultrasound, you know, to make sure to move forward, because first I was going to have a vaginal birth. That was the plan. But he was breached, so I could no longer have him naturally. So she did the ultrasound, everything, he was still breached. So we went to she went to go get some more nurses and everything. They was getting me checked all in, and they was coming in there with all those needles, sticking me. I I had to give blood, so the nurse couldn't even find my veins. So I got stuck like 3 times. And to put the IV in, got all of that good stuff done. And then when she left, they left, and I was just like coming to my senses, like, okay, this is really happening. I'm gonna have a baby. And my mom, she was in the room with me, and I don't know what was going through her head, but that's my road dog, y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. So she supported me throughout the whole entire thing. And when they left, then, you know, I was praying. I was like, God, I hope this baby don't come today. But I had already knew that this baby was coming today. So anyway, so we got in contact with his daddy. His dad was gone to work. He was working that day. His dad was gone to work and everything. We got in contact with him. He came. My mom, actually, we went to the hospital, didn't have no clothes. We didn't have no diaper bag packed. I didn't have no clothes for me. I didn't have nothing. Like, when we went to the hospital that morning, I was just going to say, hey, y'all, I think I'm in labor, but I'm not really sure if I'm in labor. So that was the only reason that I was going. But it all, like I said, it all just happened so fast. And I just, y'all, it all happened so fast. And so my mom, she ran home, got us some clothes, you know, everything, all of that good stuff. So his dad finally gets there, and I'm not really sure what his dad is thinking. I'm not sure how he was feeling about the situation, knowing that, you know, hey, we're gonna be parents. Not really sure how all of this was feeling to him. In the hospital room, he did support me. He was there when I needed him. And yeah. So the nurses came back in, and the nurses said, we're gonna have a baby about noon. And mind you, it's already 10 o'clock in the morning. So they like, we're gonna have a baby around noon. And I'm like, noon? Like, I can't have it no later than that. Like, I can't have him like at 5 or something, because I was not ready. And they was like, you know, I had to have a C-section, of course. So we moved on to C-section. They got ready to take me back. So the C-section noon came around finally. And they got ready to take me back for the C-section. Mind you, I am beyond nervous. I'm sure his dad was nervous. They came in with all this gear, telling his dad to put on all this stuff. So we're gonna put the pictures right here. But we're gonna put one right here, and then we're gonna put one right here. But his dad was geared up, and he was ready to go. So they rolled me on to the back. Of course, my mom had to pray and everything. When they rolled me to the back, they would not let Tavia come in for the epidural. I was told that they've had a lot of men that when they see stuff like that, they faint or something like that. That's what I was told by the nurses. So that's why they don't let the dad in the room to see that. So, with the epidural, y'all, I was sitting on the table, and the anesthesiologist was like, hey, it's gonna be really quick, it's gonna be short, I'm gonna count to 3. He didn't even make it to 3. He said 1, and next thing I know, I have a needle in my back. So once all of that happened with the epidural, he was telling me, hey, don't move, make sure, I need you to be real still, like real still. As soon as he stuck me, I did this. And so I was panicking because everybody else was panicking, because they was like, no, bend over, like, stop, you're moving too much. And I couldn't help it though. Natural reflex, because it hurt so bad. Would I do that again? Absolutely not. But it hurt so bad, and I don't know. People be lying when they be saying this stuff don't hurt, because it do. But so after the epidural and stuff, that epidural for the C-section worked instantly. Like, soon as we got done with it, they was like, okay, I need you to lay back. I couldn't feel nothing from the waist down. So, yeah, that was the epidural. So, they finally let his dad come in. They had me lay my hand on the thing, and the anesthesiologist, he was like, hey, do you need the oxygen? Anything like that. And I feel like I needed it only because I feel my breathing getting heavy and heavier and heavier because I was nervous. So I needed it. So the C-section, it went by to me it was quick. Lennox was sitting up very high. He was like up here. He didn't even drop yet. And so like he was sitting up like very high, and I felt like, I didn't feel them like cut me open or nothing like that, but I felt the other doctor like pushing down on him because I guess he got stuck again. And they was like trying to push him out, like, cause he was sitting so high. So I felt that, and that was making me more nervous. So, but they finally got that little rascal out. So when he got out, I'm not sure what his dad was thinking at the time, but that of course he did cut the umbilical cord, and he took pictures, and we took a family picture, which will be right here. And it was a beautiful experience. It really was. Of course, I cried, shed a little tear. I don't know about his dad. Did you cry? No, he didn't cry. Anyway, so it was beautiful. After he got here, the recovery was very painful. It was like something that I have never experienced before, and I have experienced a lot of stuff, but that pain is just like, it's different from anything else, because of course, you know, after you have a C-section, they have to sew you back together again, and it was just, I couldn't take it. But luckily I made it through with the help of his dad, my mom, really those two. When after I had my son, my sisters, they came, which I am so grateful for them too. They came to town, and they kind of helped out a bit, and I came out to his dad's, because his dad's dad, which would be Lennox's granddaddy, Lennox's granddad and his girlfriend came from Arizona to be here for Lennox. So, of course, we visited them. It was a lot of pain. I couldn't really walk much. I didn't try to walk much, but you know, for certain stuff, then I felt like I had to. I tried the whole breastfeeding situation. That was absolutely negative. It was a no positive outcomes with breastfeeding for me. For other people, yes, and I'm so happy that other people get a chance to do it and experience that, but it was a no for me. So anyway, so it was a no for me for the breastfeeding. I started breastfeeding my second week after having Lennox. Started him on formula, and he does pretty good with that. Now he's 4 months old. Well, finna be 5 months, and he's eating baby food, holding his own bottle, and doing everything else that 4-month-olds should not be doing. So, but yeah, that was a beautiful experience. I would suggest, like, after you have a C-section to get a belly band. I would suggest that. Even now to this day, even 4 months later or almost 5 months later, it still hurts when I sneeze and it still hurts when I cough. I pretty much had to my belly band wasn't working so well because it was a smaller size. I should have got a bigger size, but anyway, it was a smaller size and it wasn't working. So I had to use pillows anytime I had to sneeze, anytime I had to cough, anything like that. So the recovery process is definitely very long. For some, it was for me. For some, it may not be, but it was for me. So, look, Lenny. Look. You gonna say hey? Look at this head. You gonna say hey? Being a mom, it has had its challenges. I know for a fact for me and for his dad, we've had our challenges with being parents, new parents at that. But would I change it? Absolutely not. I love my baby. Say hey. Say hey. He's the sweetest baby you will ever meet. He is not a problem baby. He doesn't cry a lot. He'll cry, but only if something is really wrong with him. Just crying just to cry or just because he want to be held or something. He don't do that. But he's a good baby. I would not change this for nothing. So that was my experience with being pregnant, having a baby, and yeah. So that was my experience with having a baby, being pregnant, and having a C-section. Like I said, C-sections are different for everyone. Births are different for everybody. So that was just my experience. My pain level is high, but it's not high. It's not that type of pain high. So, of course, it did have its trials and tribulations with the recovery process, but I made it through. And now we got this little buddy. So, until next time, and